welcome to this edition of Calf Chat. It's good to see everybody. Today we're going to talk a little bit about building calf barns. I get a lot of questions about people who just want to know more about calf barns, and if they were going to go into that process, where do we even begin to look? What are the questions we should be asking? Where should we start? And what information do we even need to know before we start to go down that process of building a barn? First, I would say what you really need to look at is your animal flow. Look at your numbers, look at your calvings, look at your high months. I mean, really focus in on when your biggest calving numbers are and what you're going to need for spaces. That'll help you get a blueprint and how big of a barn you're going to need. From there, then look at your farm. What do you have from space around the farm? What would it be built next to? Do you have enough room between another facility to make sure you get adequate ventilation? Is the last space in the barn next to a manure pit? You know, things like that. Where would you put it and does it fit? Once you kind of decide that and you got an idea that, yep, this is how big my barn needs to be, we've got space for it, what are some of the other things then that you should probably take into account? Well, style. How wide does your barn need to be? Do you want a 2-row barn? Do you want a 4-row barn? What are you going to do for drainage? Are you going to put those animals on a gravel pad, or are you going to need concrete? If you're going to go down the path of concrete, what are you going to do for slope? How are you going to drain? Are you going to put some drains along the calf pens? Are you going to put drains behind the calf pens? That would affect the slope of the barn. How much water is actually going to come off of that barn? Do we need to be collecting it? Are we going to build a milk house next to it? Is our barn going to be continuous flow? Do we need one barn? Maybe we should have 2 barns. From a biosecurity standpoint, separating and being able to have 2 calf spaces, maybe put your milk room in the middle. That gives you an opportunity to clean one side and have animals in the other and clean back and forth. It gives you that all in, all out capabilities. Paired housing, group housing. How do you really want to raise those calves? What's the style of raising that you want to look at? I just say that if you're looking at barns and you're looking at options, it's just really important to get out, ask questions. And the thing that I would say the most is tour facilities. Work with your nutritionist, work with your calf specialist, get out, see facilities, ask to see pictures, ask questions. The number one question I like to ask people is, if you were going to build this barn all over again, what would you do different? Some may say ventilation, some may slope, some may say, we just wouldn't build this barn. We would have kept them in hutches. So I think it's really important to do your due diligence and ask a lot of questions. And if you do have questions, feel free to reach out. That's what we're here for. Thank you and have a great day.